Okay, we alive, ladies and gentlemen. Just chilling with the homie, Mr. Well, I'm gonna let him introduce himself because he got a whole lot of names, y'all. But y'all know who this is. It's your boy Sachi. This is the I don't know if this is the Hip Life podcast or what, because I have not bothered to give it a name yet. So I got a lot of them in my head, but I haven't really thought about it. So I'll figure that out later. As for now, we just having a good time. So what's up, player? Let them know who you are.
What's up? What's up? This King Justo from the Life Podcast. One half of the Life Podcast. King Justo.
Oh yeah.
King _ Justo 86 on IG. If anybody wants. Yeah.
I forgot to say that you're one half. I forgot to say that you're one half of the Life Podcast because you are missing your co-host, Amo Anthony Morrow. If y'all don't know, that's a former NBA basketball player. He was playing in the Big Three, but all this stuff hitting it, canceled all that out. Yeah. So all this extra stuff got everybody sitting in the house. Yeah, shout out Amo. Shout out Amo. So this is what's known as a crossover podcast because the Life Podcast is the homies, and
yes, indeed.
I'm Hip Life. I'm the homie, and we coming together, and we doing a crossover joint. So we all came up together. So we gonna do a little. We want to talk about some of the people that we talk about in private, but they went public with some goofball stuff. So we gotta talk about it with some integrity. We ain't gonna kill them like we Big Perk or somebody, but we gotta talk because your man Big Perk gave him the blues. Real talk.
Shout out Big Perk, man. He's a friend of the show. He's a friend of the Life Podcast show as well, man. Shout out Big Perk, man. Big Perk, wow.
Yeah, Big Perk gave him the blues yesterday. I was like, all right, Big Perk, do your thing, man.
He was on Get Up.
He was on everything, but when he got on there with Screaming A and Max, he turned the stick button all the way up. He got busy. But anyway, I didn't get to see that. Yeah. let me tell the people what we talking about. So
okay.
Two of our favorite basketball players, Mr. Kevin Durant, who's from around our way. Mm-hmm. King Justo actually played AAU and things of that nature with him, correct?
Against them, yeah, but we with the National Christian Academy. We both for the National Christian.
Right. That's National Christian is that's our stomping grounds.
Yeah.
And also Mr. Kyrie Irving.
Mm-hmm.
So Mr. Durant and Mr. Irving said that well, let me see. What did they say first? What should we talk about first?
Well, first, they were, to put it in context, they was on KD's new podcast. I forgot the name. I will shout it out, but I forgot the name. But I'm sure everybody will be hearing about that soon.
It's called The Etceteras.
The Etceteras.
Yeah, it's DETCS. ETC''S.
Okay, all right. So shout out to the Etceteras. Shout out to KD. Is he hosting it by himself or is it with somebody else?
I think it's just him because I actually subscribed to it last night, but I haven't even gotten a chance to listen to it.
Yeah, I'm not having a chance to listen to it either. But shout out to KD, shout out to the Etceteras. I think what came up first was the remark about the coaching, I believe. Kyrie made a comment. They were talking about the new coach and who's Steve Nash or whatever. And so in talking about that, Kyrie made a comment, similar to I'm gonna paraphrase what he said. He said that some days different people will take on the role of as coach, and he mentioned himself. He mentioned KD. He even mentioned Jacques Vaughn. So I was totally confused by what he was trying to say. Like you say, you were taking the role as the coach. We know coaches, they have a lot of they have to do. They have to come up with rotations, come up with practice schedules and plans. They have to take game plans, mid-game adjustments. So I don't know what role he is saying the 4 people can do other than what Steve Nash has been hired to do. So I don't know what that means, and I don't know why he would think people wouldn't think that's a weird thing to say.
Okay, so to break it down to the least common denominator and to the layman's terms for people that don't know basketball lingo and things of that nature, Kyrie went on KD's podcast and said that they don't really need a coach, that sometimes Kyrie will be the coach, sometimes KD will be the coach, sometimes the coach will actually be the coach, go figure. Sometimes the person that was the coach last year that they fired will also be the coach. But at the end of the day, they don't need a coach. So, screaming
a team that's never played together, by the way.
Right.
A team that never played together ever, by the way.
So, of course, the media has picked up on it. Screaming A got busy. Big Perk got busy. Sources got busy. Cornball Brother got busy.
Chris Broussard, for people to know that. Right. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Cornball Brother, our boy Rob Parker, he got busy. So everybody was going in on Kyrie. I know you have a little bit. I have no personal experience of being around Kyrie or talking to Kyrie. I know you have. So is this a common? I mean, he comes across to me as kind of a doofus, but I don't know. Is it an act or what's going on?
See, when I was around him a whole lot, he was still young. So he was like probably, let me see, that's probably like his 3rd or 4th year in the NBA. He came in right after 1 year. So he might have been like 23, 24. Didn't really accomplish a lot at that point. He might have been an all-star or Rookie of the Year. But it was definitely before he won the championship and and made several other all-star games or whatever. So it was way before the flat earth stuff and before I don't want to play for the Cavaliers, and if y'all don't trade me, I'll put my surgery off to the middle of the season or whatever. Then I'm in Boston. I'm happy in Boston. I want to stay in Boston. Then it was I don't owe anybody shit in Boston, and these young dudes don't know how to win in Boston. And then Boston wins without you, and then you come back and they're worse. And then he leaves Boston. That he said he wanted to stay in Boston. Now he was in Brooklyn, and when he got there, he said, "Next year, me and KD and he named like 4 guys. Like we're gonna figure it out and have to make some changes." This is all his first year on the team. And then he gets hurt again. Unfortunately, he has a history of getting hurt because he's an incredible basketball player. Like we both love his game on the court and his talent. That's undeniable. So yeah, when I was around him, he was more quiet because he was more young. He was only like 23, 24 back then. So he wasn't. So he was always cool. When I've been around him, he never got into the earth being flat or none of that kind of stuff. He never really got into that. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, so I didn't realize he was, now a lot of people have different opinions about him, reports about him in the locker room, him as a teammate.
Right.
You know what I mean? A lot of people have different reports about him and the kind of guy he is. I don't know. I don't know where the switch happened. I don't know if after he felt like he won a championship, he felt like, he's arrived and he's, I guess like one of those guys or whatever, and his personality could have shifted. I don't know. I do know he one thing I do know is guys that lose a parent tend to go through a lot. So I don't know if where his mind and where I don't know if that has anything to do with the way he thinks but I don't know. He seems like a different cat than the cat I used to be around. To sum it up.
So do you think? Well, you mentioned winning the championship. You think maybe like he had the movie Uncle Drew, right? A as far as like
Yes.
shoe sales go, you got the Kyrie Irving Nike shoe does pretty well. Do you think that kind of like went to his head? Do you think that went to his head?
Oh yeah. Yes. I mean, and, you know, I don't want to say kind of expected, but I think, I mean, we all know fame and attention everybody handles that differently, you know. So when you go from being a great player on a horrible team in a small market to go from that to hitting the shot he hit in the championship, it was one of the biggest shots in NBA history. Winning a championship, starring in movies, having your own signature shoe series. You know, a lot of people deal with that different. You know what I mean? Like some people deal with it in stride, and you know they remain, I guess, humble or whatever. Not to say that he's not, but he comes off. Reports come off as if he's not. So yeah, I think that probably plays a part in it, and not wanting to be. You know, I think that's what led to I want my own team kind of thing.
Right. But when he left
the whole departure.
Right, but when he left and I guess Boston technically wasn't his own team because I remember when he put out a list of teams that he wanted to go to, the Celtics definitely weren't on that list, and then they traded for him anyway, or what have you. But when he went to the Celtics, you know, they were a playoff team and they were decent.
I thought Boston was on the list.
Nah, they weren't on the list. It was the Knicks and the Nets were probably I think the Nets were on the list because he used to be a Nets fan when they were in Jersey. But the Knicks were on the list, but the Celtics weren't on the list. And, you know, they went ahead and traded for him anyway. Okay. But it seems to me when Kyrie goes to a team that he messes the whole team up. Like the chemistry of the team and the locker room and things of that nature. Do you get that feeling?
Definitely in Boston, because I mean, you just look at the numbers. They're when he was hurt. Look at the play of, you know, the younger guys, Tatum, Smart, Brown, all those guys. They improved. They were a game away from going to the finals as rookies, basically. And then when he came back, everybody had a down year when he came back. And then this season, when they replace him with Kemba, everybody's numbers go back up. Like three players average 20. They got multiple All-Stars. They you know, I think they ran into a hot team in Miami who's playing great basketball at the time. And yeah, they definitely looked better and looked to be having more fun with him when he was either hurt or off the team.
But even this season, you know, with the Nets, even though he was in and out or whatever, and then he basically missed the rest of the season, the same thing was happening when he was playing this year.
Then he came out publicly and said who needs to be here, who needs to be gone. Like dude.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Right. Like fam, we all know, like you gotta get we all know y'all's success should be totally different next year when you add a player of Kevin Durant's caliber. So you saying that and then saying only naming like 3 or 4 guys on the team and the rest of the dudes is like, you know what I mean? Like that, like, and see when he does that kind of stuff, if I say, yo, next year when it's me, KD, DeAndre Jordan, Karis LeVert, and Spencer, you know, and we need to add some other guys to those 5 guys. Like the rest of the, like how are the guys on the team supposed to take that? Like, and then for you to act like when the media picks it up, oh, like why is everybody making a big deal out of it? Like why, like why can't I just live my life? Because you saying some bullshit,
right?
You know what I'm saying? Like you saying stuff, like you throwing your teammates under the bus again. This is the 3rd time you did it,
right?
So if you don't want to, you know, deal with the public backlash of it, don't say it. If all y'all want to do is play basketball, then go play basketball. Now you want to be the GM. You wanted to be the GM. Now you want to be the coach. That's not just playing basketball, bro.
True. Now, okay, being as though we both played basketball at at some type of point in our lives and levels or whatever, what have you. What do you think he means when he says that everybody can be the coach? Like, what does that mean in your eyes?
The only way that would make sense to me would be if they were the 1960s Boston Celtics and they've played together for 10 years straight, and they're obviously the best team in the NBA, and they got Bob Cousy and Bill Russell on the team, and they're clearly the best team in the NBA. So because they got 8 Hall of Famers on one team and they win every year. That's the only time that would make sense to me. Is if Red Auerbach came out and just sat out of practice one day and Bob Cousy ran practice, or Bill Russell or Sam Jones or one of them dudes ran practice. That's the only time it'll make any sense to me, because in which Bill Russell did actually become the coach. So, and they still won the championship. But like I said, that was in the 60s. But for a team that's never played or dribbled together, and you're adding in somebody as great as Kevin Durant is, I have no idea what I have no idea what he's talking about. Is he saying one day in the game, I'm gonna make the substitutions, I'm gonna call the timeout, I'm gonna draw the plays up, I'm gonna make the defensive adjustments, I'm gonna make the defensive matchups, because that's what coaching is.
Right.
I'm gonna motivate the guys, be ready to play. You know what I mean? Is that what I don't know if that's what he means, because that's what a coach does. So I don't understand about what I don't understand what he's saying with that.
So, okay, so let's say that you are Steve Nash. Mm-hmm. You cut on the TV in the morning and cut on Screaming A&M in the morning, and you heard the clip of Kyrie saying, "We don't really need a coach. We don't really have a coach. Everybody's the coach." What do you think, Steve Nash? What do you think he said when he was like, "Yeah, what?" I mean, what do you think Steve Nash said?
I would say Kyrie.
Do you think he called them what are y'all talking about?
I would have if I was him. I've never been around Steve Nash really, so I don't know his personality in private. So, but what I would say is, Kyrie, let's relax on talking about my job and respect my title as the coach of the team. You don't even know what my philosophy is going to be yet, so it might be not anything for you to have to try to come in and for you to coach. You know what I mean? So let me do my job, you do your job, and let's focus on us as a team coming together to reach the common goal of winning the championship. But keep my duties and what you think you need to be doing that's supposed to be my job out of interviews. This is the third time you've been somewhere. Well, no, sorry, this is the fourth. This is the fourth time you're talking about somebody else's role and responsibilities publicly who you have to work with. It hasn't worked nowhere you ever done it at. You complained about LeBron's leadership style. Y'all got killed in the finals, then you left. You complain about the Boston Celtics young players. Y'all underachieved, then you left. And then, you know what I'm saying? Now you're doing it here again. Just let me worry about coaching. You worry about being the best player you can be to help us win. That's it.
Okay, so speaking of Steve Nash, when he got announced as the coach a couple of weeks ago or what have you, it really wasn't much backlash, but there was one guy that, was being extra and loud, Mr. Screaming A. Smith.
Right.
He called it white privilege, but then went on to say it's because of Kyrie and KD. So I didn't really understand what he was trying to say. I think he was just trying to backpedal and switch up his argument because he wound up getting backlash for saying it. But how did you feel about that?
Okay, I understand everybody's sentiment of black coaches don't come into situations where they get two superstars in their prime and a large market and a team that's, from the outside looking in is primed to be a championship contender. I understand that, and that's but that's a very specific argument to the fact of, one, Steve Nash, his friend is the general manager of the Nets, his friend and former teammate.
Right.
And two, he worked with Kevin Durant for all the years he was in Golden State as a player development coach.
Right.
So I don't think if he was black, like if Sean Marks played with them the same way he did, or like, you know what I'm saying, and KD had a personal relationship with him, I don't think him being black would have changed that dynamic. You know, that's just my personal opinion. Like if who's somebody that's been names been thrown around the coaching ranks before? Like say if Chauncey Billups or somebody was a close friend of Sean Marks and a former teammate, and spent the past 3 or 4 years with KD on a daily basis in practices and workouts, all that kind of stuff. And then they asked him like, "Yo, would you be interested in coaching us?" Like, I think that's a realistic thing of happening. Or like we're seeing Jason Kidd get an opportunity. Well, like if he, you know what I mean? Like if he had a friend that was a GM and the best player on the team was co-signing for it, I think that's a realistic thing of happening too. And I feel like, what did Steve Nash play? Like 19, 20 years?
He came in 96 with AI, Kobe and them.
Yeah, then he went to probably maybe okay.
Probably was
18,
about 20 years.
Yeah, so if I feel like if you were an elite level point guard in the NBA for 20 years, I personally think you get to jump past having to be an assistant, and you know what I mean. Like I think that's experience enough for you to know how to coach a team from an X's and O's standpoint. Now, is he a leader of men and a motivator? That's yet to be seen. But sometimes a lot of coaches delegate those responsibilities through their staff as well.
You're right.
You know what I mean? Like some people say Doc's greatest asset is his motivational intangibles. And then you heard, guys like Tibbs running the defense and guys like Tyronn Lue, and Sam Cassell, them, they run the offense. So, sometimes they delegate different, different roles through different assistants. Like I've heard coaches do that. You know what I mean? So maybe that's what he's going to do. Maybe he's going to have a guy who's the fiery motivational guy, and he'll handle the X and O's for offense and have a defensive coordinator, because we know Steve Nash will play a lot of that. So maybe he'll have a defensive coordinator, and maybe he'll have you know what I mean? So maybe he'll delegate those roles through his staff.
Okay, so speaking of Mr. Doc Rivers, he was fired. What's today? Saturday. So let's say he was fired on Monday by the Clippers. Mm-hmm. And I think he was hired by Wednesday by the Sixers.
Sixers, yeah.
So first, I guess my first question, it's a two-part question. First question is, do you think, well, you already know how I feel, but do you think he deserved to be fired by the Clippers? And do you think him getting hired like 1 or 2 days later is justified?
I think that Doc Rivers needs to, I don't know what he does for KG, Ray Allen, and Paul Pierce, and Rajon Rondo every Christmas, but I hope he gives them great, great gifts, because winning that championship has catapulted his
one championship too, by the way, just one.
One championship, and he gave up a 16-point lead in the game 7 to lose the next year's championship. But that's neither here nor there.
Did that go 7 games?
Yeah, they gave 7 games. When Kobe won it against them, that was 7 games. They was up 16 in that game.
Did KG get hurt in that series?
No, that was Perk got hurt in that series. KG got hurt the year after they won the championship. That's when Orlando went to the finals, and they beat LeBron and them. And then the next year, remember, because Kobe beat Dwight in the finals first. Then the next year was a rematch of the year before.
Oh, okay. So the Celtics didn't go back to back then.
No, they lost. They lost to Boston because that's when KG was hurt. KG got hurt that playoffs.
Oh, okay. I was thinking they went back to back, but okay.
Yeah. Then after that, obviously, LeBron went to the Heat. Then they never got back.
Right. So my thoughts on Doc, because of course I was a Blake Griffin fan, so I was trying to see the Clippers do well, and at first, Vinny D was the coach.
Mm-hmm.
They probably won 45, 50 games or something like that.
Yeah.
I think they made it. I think they made it to the second round.
Yeah.
And then, they got CP. Well, CP played, I think, 1 year with Vinny D as the coach. But so then they got, they brought in Doc, and the expectations went, sky high, championship, all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I really didn't see any difference from when he was the coach to when Vinny D was the coach. And the results weren't any different because they never got out the second round. And plus they gave up that 3-1 lead to Houston.
To Houston's bench players.
Yeah, and he's given up 3-1 leads as a coach, 3 or 4 times now. Doesn't seem to make many. Yeah, it doesn't seem to make many adjustments. I know they always say he's this great coach and everything, but I just don't see it. I don't know where it comes from, because other than that one championship, his teams were always trash.
Yeah, yeah. And like you said, I was the huge Tracy McGrady fan growing up, and
right.
The same thing happened when he became the coach of the Magic. They were up 3-1, and they lost. Had
your man on the post game interview, real Sace, talking about they about to go to.
Yeah, you know what I mean. but even that is a mindset lapse, because I feel like one of the things that coach should be drilling into your head is it's not over. So don't be walking around smiling and high fiving. It is not over with. That's something else that has to come from up top as well. Because as players, of course, you get excited, you get happy. You don't think 3-1. You don't think you're going to lose 3 in a row, but it's not over though.
Now, when Jared and them played the Clippers in the playoffs, I believe it was Golden State versus the Clippers. Mm-hmm. Was Doc Rivers the coach, or was Vinny D the coach?
I believe Doc was the coach. You're talking about when they won in 7 games?
Right.
First round?
First round.
Yeah.
So that was Doc.
Yes, because that was in that was 2013. He was coach for 7 years. I won't say that was Doc's first year.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. I saw. Well, it was JJ Redick and what's my man name? Matt Barnes. They were talking about that today. I was watching on All the Smoke. They didn't throw Doc under the bus. They said that they thought they should have won the championship, but there was some other things surrounding it. Of course, they mentioned that people were kind of petty towards each other and stuff like that. But they mentioned like some little small adjustment things or whatever. But they didn't throw Doc under the bus. But So anyway. I want to get back to Mr. Durant and Mr. Irving. So also on this new Kevin Durant podcast, shout out to the Etceteras is the name of the podcast.
Shout out to him.
Kyrie, he made a statement where I have to paraphrase it because I don't have it in front of me, but he basically said that being on the team with KD, this is the first time that I had somebody else on the team that I trust to take and make big shots. So the media picked that one up also and said, now he didn't name any names, but let me repeat it. He said that this is the first time, since I'm on the team with you, KD, my boy KD, that this is the first time that I felt like I was on a team with another player that I trusted to make and take and make game-winning shots. So with that being said, what other high-level type of basketball players has Kyrie been on the team with?
LeBron James.
Not Jason Tatum? Not Marcus Smarts?
Jason Tatum, yeah. I mean, I thought you meant like somebody that was on like KD's level.
No, I'm just saying who he. You don't think he might have been talking about Marcus Smarts or you know?
Well, he said nobody. So until KD, so he's talking about everybody.
I thought maybe he was talking about Marcus Smart, man. But they, they claim
he's talking about everybody.
Shout out to the fake Marcus Smarts too. I talked to him yesterday, but yeah. Yeah, so anyway, everybody pretty much says that he's talking about LeBron.
Well, LeBron was included in what he was saying because he said his first time ever. So that means all the teammates he's ever had, it's the first time he ever trusted them. That's what he said.
Well, yeah, that's the sugarcoat way to put it. But the media is basically saying he's taking a shot at good old LeBron James. So So do you think he was taking a shot at LeBron James or was he talking about everybody? He wasn't even talking about LeBron.
But LeBron is part of the everybody. So yeah. Like, and the part that's the craziest part about that is LeBron has made more game winners than him.
Oh, brother.
Yeah, that's documented facts.
I don't want to get into that.
I'm saying LeBron has more game winners than him. That's facts. That's factually true. We can pull it up. We can look up highlights or whatever. LeBron has more game-winning buzzer beater shots than Kyrie Irving does in the regular season and playoffs.
Only game winner I remember him making was he threw a joint up with his eyes closed against the Magic one time. That's all I recall.
He had game winners against. He had the game winner against the Wizards as like his third year in the NBA in the playoffs. He game winners against the Pacers, the Raptors. He won against Golden State at Golden State. That was regular season though. He's in pretty good game winners. He had one when he blocked Victor Oladipo's shot and then made the game winner that game. Another one against the Pacers. That was in the playoffs. He has plenty.
Why he ain't make one against the Nuggets?
He didn't need to.
That's
stupid. Stupidly, all he had to do was stand there, and stupidly, two Nuggets players tried to guard him at the same time. Unless somebody else wide open, who's a beast. So
why he ain't make one against Golden State?
He was outmanned and outgunned.
No, I mean Kyrie made one against Golden State.
Oh, he made the block to set that up.
The block.
Then he scored the rest of the points for the team for the rest of the game.
The block? You mean when Kyrie
still wasn't a game winning shot? It was a minute left.
Kyrie made all the big shots in that series, but we won't go there. We won't go.
He didn't lead them in scoring, assists, rebounds, steals, or blocks. I know somebody who did though.
I mean, he has the ball every time. You're going to do stuff like that when you hog the ball every time. But, it is what it is.
Rebounding has nothing to do with hogging the ball or blocking shots or getting steals.
I mean, if you're tall, you get rebounds. I mean, it's not like he's getting Will Chamberlain numbers out here, but, There's
a lot of tall people don't get rebounds.
Yeah, well.
A lot of them.
Yeah, well,
That's cool.
That's cool. So, with Kyrie and, before I go there, let me say this. Being as though this is a new podcast that KD is launching. This is the very first episode.
What a way to start.
Could part of these incendiary statements being made be because they know that it would be picked up and get free promo for the podcast?
Of course. Because they got edit buttons.
Right.
And they're not stupid. As much as they want to play stupid, like, oh my God, why is everybody acting like I'm talking about LeBron? Because that's what you said. He's a part of the everybody you were talking about. So that's why it's going to be a story. Had you never played with LeBron, it would have been a story.
Right. So
and LeBron would take a shot back.
Well, tell us what he said.
He said the reason why me and AD, why we work together so well, is because we're not jealous of one another. And yes, he was privy to Kyrie's comments before he made that statement in the interview.
So what you're trying to say is he's trying to say that Kyrie is jealous of him.
I think he felt that way when they were teammates.
So along those lines, your boy Big Perk said he went off about 3, 4, 5 minutes on First Take or what have you. So he says that Kyrie is a bona fide hater, and it's so bad now it's gotten to the point where he can't hide it anymore.
I don't know about him being a hater. But what I do know is like you saying you want to go to have your own team, and then you go join it with KD. We all know now that was bullshit. You just didn't want to play with him no more.
Well, I mean, he did get traded to the Celtics, though. I guess he thought that was going to be his old team since they was young, and he was a veteran that won a championship and all that kind of stuff.
But I'm saying he could have stayed there, but he chose to go play with somebody now that's better than him. You know what I'm saying? So that's not having your own team. There's somebody on the team that's better than you.
But do you think Kyrie believes that KD is better than him?
Yes.
But he don't think LeBron is better than him.
I think he thinks that. I just think they get along as well. Because now we see he don't mind playing with somebody that's on that caliber. So to me, it just tells me he just didn't like him, which is fine. You know, everybody's personalities don't mesh, especially at work. They're co-workers. They're not, you know, they didn't grow up together, so that's fine.
Right. So, okay, so KD and Kyrie join forces because supposedly they're friends, best friends, boys, or what have you. Yeah. Now, they definitely didn't grow up together, and I don't know when they became boys or whatever, or like that. Mm-hmm. They said it was maybe a couple years ago at the All-Star game or something like that.
I've heard the Olympics.
Or maybe the Olympics, something like that.
Yeah.
So,
or when they started, or when they were working out together in Vegas, and the Olympic camp thing that they have every year, every couple of years.
So, do you think the whole "we're boys, we're buddy," do you think that's going to lead to a successful basketball teammate relationship?
They have interesting games. Somebody's gonna have to sacrifice and take a step back. So if they're willing to do that, then I think it has a better chance of working than if they don't. I think you have a Russ and James situation where you got two guys with numbers, and their whole style is you go one-on-one, I go one-on-one, you go one-on-one, I go one-on-one. We'll have numbers, but we're not gonna win shit. But we'll still be boys. You know, whatever works.
Do you think
they both already got championships? So who knows if they even if their mindset is to be the ultimate sacrifice so they can keep winning, or is it for the individual legacies? You know, they both already won, so the pundits can't really use that. Well, they'll use the KD joined up still. He never won the championships without joining up, so they'll still use that. But other than that, I don't know. I got to see who's willing to take that sacrifice, because that's important.
Okay, so their lineup, if they keep the roster the way it is, who do you think the lineup would be? It's KD, it's Kyrie,
either. Well, he's come off the bench a lot.
Dinwiddie? I thought he was the starting two guard.
It'll probably be. Well, that's when they had the injuries and stuff. Remember, because Dinwiddie was a 6-man finalist last year.
Oh, okay.
I think it was him, Lou, and Eric Gordon, I think. But anyway, I think it'd be either the Afro dude, I forget his name.
Over DeAndre?
Yeah, either him or DeAndre at center. KD probably played stretch 4. Joe Harris, if they keep him, so he can spread the floor as a shooter. And probably Karras and Kyrie, or Dinwiddie and Kyrie.
So if that's the lineup, well, let me ask you this. Do you trust Kyrie Irving to be your point guard? To run the offense?
See, I like him better off the ball as far as point guard goes. I like him better as a playmaker than a point guard, if that makes sense.
Right. But in this situation, it would seem.
But I do think Kyrie is capable if he puts his mind to that. That's what he wants to do. But I just don't know if it is. Like if he says, instead of one to average 25, I'll average 20 and 9. I think he can do that. I think he's good enough to do that. And I think that'll make them better too.
Well, hopefully Steve Nash will be able to. Well, I was going to say coach him, but yeah, hopefully Steve Nash will be able to coach him up in doing that.
In the days he allows it, because I mean nobody knows better how to get a whole lot of people involved in an offense better than Steve Nash. I mean that's one thing. When we go back to those Suns teams, they had like 6 or 7 guys, or maybe even 8 done double figures. You know what I'm saying? So that's he can teach them that, because he can, like Kyrie. Look, I didn't win two MVPs averaging 25, 30 points. I won them averaging 15, 16, 17 points. You know? Right. So, hey, if you don't care about, scoring titles or being on the all-time score list, and you care about winning and making the team mesh, hey, average 18 and 11. And, you know what I'm saying? At the end of the games, you and KD pick your spots to close. That's kind of what I would, you know what I mean? Because they got a lot of guys that can score. Like Karis LeVert can score. We saw that in the bubble. Dinwiddie can score. And, it's a contract year for him, so you already know what that means.
Right.
Joe Harris is capable of knocking down shots, you know what I mean? So Taurean Prince off the bench, I think he could be solid. So they got the talent, they got the team, they got the talent, they got the size. Now all they need is chemistry, which is the most important thing.
Okay, so this is an elephant in the room.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing what we know of KD and Kyrie's personalities, off the court, as far as dealings with the media in general, social media, all that stuff that comes with it. Do you think that their personalities will hold up with the media blitz of New York?
Only if they're winning.
And the expectations, I should say, that come along with it.
Yeah, if they're meeting expectations, then yeah. But you've worked in New York media. I've been privy to it. We did 2 years with the Knicks, and and with the year with the 2 years with the Nets and the year with the Knicks. So I've got it on, seeing it from both sides, and it's crazy. Like it's crazy. It's you gotta be prepared for it.
So do you think KD gonna fire up some new burner accounts or what?
For sure. For sure.
he gonna have burner accounts getting at every single media member.
And see, the thing about that is too, you gotta realize also what comes to New York is your personal life being in the media comes to being in New York too.
Right.
There's all the paparazzis and all that kind of stuff, and TMZ heavy out there. So they got to keep that in mind too. It's different. It's different from being all the way out in the Bay and Oklahoma or Cleveland for Kyrie, and you know what I mean. So that part is like who you got dinner with and stuff. Now that's going to be back page news. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I mean, they seem to, whenever they get criticized now, it seems to affect them. It seems to bother them. KD went on his media sabbatical a couple of years ago, and that was when they was winning the championship and when they was beating expectations, and he was playing great. And then, but every time somebody said any little thing about free agency, it would strongly affect them. You know what I'm saying? It's like, dude, you're one of the top players in the NBA. If you ever signed a contract, of course they're going to ask you about free agency, bro. Like what you think this is? You know what I'm saying? Like, you're arguably, however you want to flip it, you're top 2 in the NBA. You have a $100 million shoe deal. Like, you're a huge star, bro. Like, yes, where you're gonna go, where you go shifts the NBA. When you went to Oklahoma City, they came in an instant contender into a whole direction of you being there. When you went to Golden State, y'all became an unstoppable dynasty barring injury. Now, you ain't played a dribble yet, And I'm quite sure they're probably going to be favored to win the East when the new polls come out at these next couple of games. So where you go shifts the NBA, bro. So yes, if you have a free agency coming up and you're not signing a contract with the team that clearly wants you, that's a story.
Right.
And I'm sorry, call it what you want. I know they're still human, but you get well compensated to go through this kind of stuff, bro. Like if the worst thing that's happening in your life is the media is asking you about where you're playing basketball and you can't handle that and you lose it and gotta not talk to media and like let it affect you, like, bro, like just relax, bro. Like that's part of your job. And you can easily not go through this by just signing the contract with Golden State then if it's bothering you so bad. You could have just signed a deal for whatever max years and that probably would have been it would have went away.
True.
You know what I'm saying?
I personally though, I think both of them play both sides of the fence, him and Kyrie.
Yes, Kyrie literally did it with the bubble thing too. He literally played both sides of the fence.
I think that they like the attention, and then they like the attention, but then try to pretend like they don't at the same time.
Yeah, like which one is it? If you don't like attention, don't star in movies. Don't have your own shoe. Don't have a podcast.
Right. So
don't go on a podcast.
Right.
It's simple. You can't just be a huge stars, say and do whatever you want, and then you can just say and do whatever you want. And people that's these corporations that make billions of dollars to cover you is not going to say anything about it. That doesn't make logical sense.
Well, I hope no. KD, Kyrie, I hope y'all see us talking about you and fire up a burn account and get busy on it. So please do so.
I mean, the thing about it, we're not saying anything about their ability to play basketball.
Right.
You're not saying anything, about their personal life. You know what I mean? It's all about what they decide to put out into the media, into the internet, to the universe. That's what they decide to put out. So, Kyrie, if you don't want people thinking you're talking about LeBron, just say since LeBron or besides LeBron or he could have tweaked the comment and said one thing different and would have changed the whole perspective. He could have said for the first time, I think I'm going to be able to trust you the most in taking flush shots. Boom. They still would have tried to spin it, but
right.
KD is I won't look at KD any less clutch of a player as LeBron is when he being aggressive in those situations. So if you would have just said, "Yo, I think I might be able to trust you the most because you can hit free throws, 3-pointers, you can drive, you know what I'm saying." So I don't think it's a secret that most people believe that KD has a more well-rounded array of talent on the offensive end. So I won't think that would have been offensive at all to say.
True.
You say I think I'm gonna be able to trust you the most because you can hit a shot from anywhere on the court, and that's true. Everybody knows that.
Well, yeah, we'll have to see how this works out next season. When
I do want them to play in the finals, though.
That'd be a good look.
I definitely want that. A New York versus LA finals. I like that.
That would be a good look to see. That'd be funny. But
I would love to see it.
We also have to see how the season is going to work out. Like, how is that even going to work? When is it going to start? Is it back to normal? Is it still in the bubble? Or
I've been hearing January, and that there will most likely be multiple bubbles. Like it could be 2 or 4 bubbles, and basically, you spend your time stagger between each one. Okay,
speaking of the bubble, so right now in the bubble we have the NBA Finals going on. The Lakers are up 2-0. Multiple Miami Heat are injured. Dragic and Bam are out. Well, they were out last game.
I don't see how in the world Goran Dragic will even play.
Yeah, they're saying they're doubtful for the next game. I think they're out. So,
yeah.
Do you think? Well, I guess first, do you think it will be a sweep now that it's pretty much you're missing 2 starters?
With everybody healthy and playing up to their standards. I thought it'd be 5 just to be, because I don't like seeing sweeps in the finals, because you watch all this basketball because you would think the last 2 teams standing should give you the most competitive series. That's just the way I'm wired. So, but I thought the Heat played well, but a little bit over their heads, a little bit like, but they deserved it. They earned it. They're there. But I just didn't see. I thought they'd be able to match up with I didn't understand Spoelstra start trying to guard AD with Jay Crowder, and the second lineup he had like Solomon Hill checking him and stuff. So I thought he would have used their size a little bit more on AD. So at first I thought the LeBron matchups would be Jimmy, Crowder, Iggy, those 3 guys. You can throw those 3 guys on LeBron. I don't think they would have shut him down nothing, but just made it tougher than I thought anybody else could have coming out of the East. I'm out of the East. Anyway, AD, I thought the obvious matchup had to be Bam, just because Bam's size, quickness, length, athletic ability. He's good defending the rim. And I would have just took my chances on, like if Jimmy started out on Bron, putting Crowder on Dwight or McGee or somebody, I would have just took my chances of trying to do that. But yeah, when I saw he was going with the smaller person like AD, I was like, nah. If they're gonna go like this, it's gonna be over with fast.
So, you think it's gonna be a sweep now?
Yes.
Okay, so if it is a sweep and the Lakers win, this would be AD's first ring, and this would be LeBron's 3rd and a half. So, how do you think?
Fourth.
I said third. I said 3.5. That's what I said.
4.
Nah. I
want to have with the crown on it for a reason too.
We not respecting that bubblegum machine ring, man.
Shit, hey. Why? Hold on, why not?
Because we not.
Hey man, it's not his fault that the other LA team went to bed, and it's not his fault.
Hey man, this like Scotty and all them said, this is not even real NBA basketball, man. This is not the real playoffs. So,
hey, it counts.
But do you think this 3.5 rings, does this do anything to push LeBron forward on the list of all-time greats? Or does it not mean anything?
I like to go off players I saw. So for me, I think it cements him at 2. I think he edges Kobe with this one. I think he cements him. I think it solidifies, cements him at 2.
So why would he edge Kobe, even though Kobe would still have more rings? That is.
Well, because Kobe came into the league with arguably, let me see, back at that time, a top 5 player in the NBA. So his starting out to get one, although he wasn't like being carried, or he played a huge role and he had a hell of a game, but they were asked to do 2 different things. So he wanted as a number 2 guy. And I think when you looking at the rings, it's like I'm looking at him as when you were a number 1 guy.
Okay. So you saying, okay, before I ask, okay, so you saying that this would edge him over Kobe. So that would be, you're saying Kobe is 2. I mean, LeBron is 2.
Mm-hmm.
Kobe is 3.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me, before I get to 1, because I'm sure I already know who 1 is. So who would be 4? Because that would be Mount Rushmore. So who would be 4?
Can I do 5?
All right, go ahead.
All right, so my 1 would be Jordan, 2 LeBron, 3 Kobe, 4 and 5. 4 is the tie between 2 people for me, and that's Tim Duncan and Shaq.
So you put Kobe over Duncan and Shaq.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you put? Okay, but
I think individually he got to a place where he surpassed those guys individually. I think Tim Duncan probably fell into the best situation probably in basketball history. So I think that helps. I think that helps his legacy. Although individually, he's by far to me the best power forward of all time. But just his situation was great. You get to the team, Hall of Famer that was hurt last year was the only reason why y'all got the number one pick in the first place. You get him back at the end of his prime. Then y'all find dudes at the last pick in the draft that's probably going to Hall of Fame. Then the other dudes y'all find that's from France at the bottom of the first round. Then as soon as y'all get old, y'all find a dude at like 16 and Kawhi. Like it was just like R.C. Buford, Pop, and their whole organization. That was immaculate. Immaculately ran for 2 decades.
But LeBron finds people that's already bona fide NBA All-Stars and goes to get them.
Yeah, but his individual play went up. He didn't like fall back and become like just a guy. He was winning MVPs every year still.
Okay.
So it wasn't like he pulled like I'm gonna team up with this guy, but then my numbers going to dip. No, his numbers went up, and he was still, to me, the best player in the NBA.
Okay, so right now we have the finals in the bubble, and I guess we're both thinking it's going to be a sweep. So it'll be over Tuesday or Wednesday or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So
then we got the draft coming up, right?
I'm not sure when the draft is.
The draft is this month.
Oh, really? Okay. So who you got going number one there? Who you got going number one?
Either Melo or Edwards.
And the number one pick is Minnesota?
See, Melo plays so much like D'Angelo Russell to me.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. I don't know.
Edwards is a 2 guard.
Yeah, Minnesota. I don't know what they're gonna do. It should be interesting though. But yeah, like I was saying, so you got the bubble, and the main reason why we have a bubble to begin with is because of the COVID outbreak.
Mm-hmm.
So the NBA is coming to a close this coming week, and the NFL is going into the fourth week or what have you. So we see today, we got news today that multiple players for the Patriots and the Chiefs have tested positive for COVID, including Cam Newton.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think without the NBA, implementing a bubble situation and things of that nature, that's going to affect, cause the season to come to a halt?
Yeah. I thought the bubble was the best way to do it. I mean, I hate to, restrict guys as far as, being their freedoms and doing their personal time. But, I would go somewhere and just chill to play sports and make millions of dollars. And that's just something I would have to do. I would have to do it. Like, I mean, it's unfortunate. It's something that's out of everybody's control.
Right.
And I'm sure I don't know if you saw, but I had Joe Hayden on the Life podcast, and his thing was, if I gotta go to practice and come home, and to get these M's, I'm gonna do it. Like that's just what I gotta do.
Right.
Like,
yeah, I saw that.
I don't gotta be in no club. I don't gotta be no restaurant. I just go to practice, go to work, go home. And that's what they're asking me to do. I'm being well compensated for it, so it's a sacrifice. But hey, it is what it is.
Yeah, I was actually looking forward to seeing how Cam and them were going to handle the Kansas City. But
you watch football?
Nah, I said I was looking forward to hearing how Cam and them were going to handle. Because I actually would like to see Cam win a Super Bowl this season.
For sure.
But
I can now openly cheer for him now that he's out of my division.
Brother. But yeah, so I wanted to see how that was going to work. But now, I don't know how the NFL has been handling the situation. I kind of feel like the NFL handled this situation the way I kind of see them handling a lot of situations. I think it's just about getting that money.
For sure.
And they not really tripping off the rest of the stuff. It was like, we're going to get this money. And it's kind of ironic that they're having this COVID breakout at the same time another person is having one too. But that's another story. I don't want to get into that.
Yeah, sorry.
It's all good. I don't want to get into that, but whatever.
Yeah. I think we're on the same page. I think we're on the same page on that one.
Yeah, so it is what it is.
That good old spin.
Yeah. But let the people know, what you got going on, where they can find you. Whatever you got to push, whatever you got to promote, the floor is yours.
Like I said before, I'm one half of the host for the Life Podcast, and you can find us on YouTube at the Life Podcast. That's our channel. Click, subscribe. You know what I'm saying? We're on Apple Podcasts as well. Check out Amo on IG. That's Frontline Fresh 2. That's at Frontline Fresh 2. Look on there. He's doing a whole bunch of things as far as registering people to vote and doing things in his community of Charlotte as well as in Atlanta. And check me out, King_Justo86 on IG. And yeah, man, that's it, man. And keep watching the Hip Life show and check my boy Sace out until he finds a name for it,
Hold up. Where the other brother at? Where he at? I need him on the podcast. I got some questions for him.
He's actually on the way over here.
Man, see, yeah, I need him on the podcast. I gotta holler at him. I got some stuff I need to talk to him about. He been bojangling.
Oh man, he'll get on.
But yeah, man, always a pleasure. We gonna I guess we got to come back after the finals, and I'm sure Kyrie and KD will give us some more fodder, some more stuff to talk about.
Yeah,
and
sure.
We can talk about I don't know, like how quickly after the finals are over is the draft coming, is the free agency coming, and all that kind of stuff.
Usually it's just a few weeks usually.
This ain't usually.
Yeah, so what I'm saying, but they got to, if they're trying to start in January, they got to hurry up.
Yeah, well, it is October, so what? November, December, January. Yeah, it's this sports.
Like you said,
sports world is going to be interesting.
Like you said, you got to have free agency, you got to have training camp, and that's usually you got to probably have scrimmages. So that's probably going to have to start in like December.
Yeah, the sports world is going to be interesting. I hope they have a plan.
I just got a text back that said, as of right now, the NBA draft will be November 18th.
November, so that's a month, 6 weeks away.
Yeah,
November 18th. Then they want to start in January. Interesting.
Yeah, so they got 2 months.
Yeah, that's interesting. Well, we'll see how that plays out. But of course,
to find somewhere to live and do all that in 2 months is going to be very difficult for a rookie.
Right, get acclimated and all that kind of stuff. It should be interesting. Hey, like you said, they're gonna have multiple bubbles or something like that. I mean, who knows? That might have to be the norm. You know what I'm saying? We don't know.
I know. I wanted to ask you too, that we didn't discuss. How do you feel about Lamello leaving Big Baller Brand? Real quick, I know you want to get out of here, but I don't see that. I don't see that story being talked about. But I think it's extremely interesting. I think he has way more earning power than his brother. I think he's the bigger star of the two, and him leaving before his career starts. I think it's kind of unfortunate that they didn't see it out all the way through. Of course, me and you were rooting for him and supporting him. But I just think it's interesting play.
Well, it looks like LeVar still has the brand going.
He does, and he has a flagship store now.
Yeah, it looks like LeVar still has the brand going.
But if he becomes no more pick in the draft, biggest player, one like a top player, I think that makes the brand go through the roof.
I think when it's always going to be some vultures around trying to, getting stuff. People start getting in your ear and stuff like that.
And that's their jobs as shoe companies.
And I think LeVar said from the beginning, he said they can wear what they want to wear. So if they decided they want to, go wear Puma or.
But I think he meant they can wear what they want to wear, after they are, they have their stuff with Big Baller Brand, but then where they want to wear like on their leisure time, I believe is what he meant. But I don't think he meant wherever they want to wear as far as being endorsed by somebody else. Like I think that was the opposite of what the whole thing he was trying to do.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't know. I think people getting in young people's ears and they want to profit off of them, and things happen. So who knows? I mean, I don't really see Puma making all that much noise unless.
Only person that got a feel over there is a rapper.
Yeah, I don't know. But I mean, maybe I guess they giving out the bags. So, you know what I'm saying? I don't know.
They definitely are doing that. I can vouch for that.
They giving out the bag, if you want to take it. But at the end of the day, if you're going to get that bag, you gotta know what to do with that bag, though.
Mm-hmm.
That bag can't just be used to go buy cars and jewelry and stuff like that. If you're going to skip out on the family business to go get a bag, then you gotta be able to use the bag the right way.
Yeah, put it back into the family business.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You got to know how to use the bag the right way. So
because what I would do is, if I'm Lamello, what I would do, which is what I kind of thought they should have did in the beginning, was get the bag and then license like just use that bag just for whatever. If it's a 4 or 5 year deal, now you got a whole lot more working capital to do what you need to do. So now if I'm Melo, hey, LeVar, here you go. Throw up another store in LA, throw up another store in New York, throw up a store where I play at, throw up a store in New Orleans. Like that's what I'm doing with the bag. And then when I'm done, if I'm a huge star, bam, I'm like a back with Triple B. I'm an all-star. You know what I'm saying? I think that would push their brand further than LeVar having to just say crazy stuff in the media. Because now you got the player who he has the look. He's already hugely famous, and I think his followers, they're in the tens of millions already. So that's what I would do. I would just reverse it and put it back into Pops, and then like I said, buying cars and jewelry, he already got that. You know what I mean? So. And then if dudes playing a bubble anyway, ain't no point in having a bunch of cars and jewelry because you could be around a bunch of dudes all day. So, you know what I mean? So that's what I would do with the brand, which is what I thought that they should do in the beginning. Because I want to say they offered like Lonzo was getting offers for like $14 million. I would have took that as a rookie.
Yeah, well, you live and you learn, maybe.
Yeah, right.
Maybe,
So now
that's what they're gonna do now.
Because LeVar's probably saying, let's do it the other way now. Like now, let's get the bag first, and then after that 4 or 5 years, boom, come on. That's what I would do.
Yeah, it should be. It's interesting to see. How LeVar like reinvents the brand or whatever, because he's like I said, he seems to still have the brand going, and he's still getting interviews and himself. You know what I mean? Like he's a star, so he ain't playing no basketball. So
yeah,
it'll probably it should be interesting to see how they do the rebrand and the relaunch and things of that nature. So hopefully it works out, and hopefully there's some people coming in the future that watch what they did and learn from their mistakes. And come in and do it a different way and pop it off that way.
Yeah, what's his name? Imani Bates. That's supposed to be the new big name. So we'll see.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm gonna save this topic for the next time. But we're gonna speak on this new way things are being branded, and also how people are seeming to open up to going to other schools, if you know what I mean.
Oh yeah, and shout out to Deion Sanders too.
Right, big shouts Deion Sanders. Big shots out AMO, the Life Podcast.
Yes, indeed.
My homie and brother right here, King Justo. Check him out. Check out their podcast.
Yes, indeed.
We might get back at you next week after the finals and give you something good.
Yeah, we dropping Tuesday, I believe.
I got more rings than LeBron has right now, so we'll talk about that next week.
All right, bro.
All right, I'm gonna get at you.
All right, dog.
See you, LeBron.